Hey everybody, hello Facebook. Sprout here today, Brooke from Sprout, and I have the pleasure of speaking with the civilian horse trainer for the US Army Caisson Platoon, Ruben Troyer. You might have read his bio on Monday. We highlighted him on Memorial Day. And first off, Ruben, thank you for your service.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's an
We
honor.
we are very thankful to you and everyone like you that serve our country and give us the freedoms that we all enjoy, and we will never take that for granted. So thank you.
You're welcome. Very welcome.
So thank you for getting on this call too. It looks like you're at Fort Meyer, right?
Yep, I'm at Fort Meyer. The headquarters building is right behind me. But I'm standing in front of the Caisson Platoon stables, as you'll see on there. Make sure I got this right. Yeah, so we're at the entrance of the stables. So this is where people go to go inside. As of right now, everything is shut until further notice. Let me make sure I got that in the shot. So yeah, everything's shut until further notice, except those of us who work here. And since I work here, let me go ahead and blow past the barrier and take you all inside of here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's such a treat to have a tour of this amazing barn and hear all about what y'all do.
Oh yeah, it's quite an operation here. So this is it's called the John C. McKinney Memorial Stables. John C. McKinney, he was a warrant officer. He was the initial platoon leader for the Caisson Platoon.
Oh wow!
And so that's what. And he stayed with the platoon for. My memory's getting rusty on that, but for quite a while. That he was the platoon leader here, so we dedicated the whole barn to him.
Oh wow!
The barn was built in 1908. Let's see, it was built in 1908. This whole row of buildings here on Fort Meyer, you can't see it, but if we were on the outside, there'd be a whole row of similar buildings like this. It was all used for stabling horses.
Okay.
And but we only use 2 of them right now. We have about 49 usable stalls here on Fort Meyer. Have another 20 or so out at our Fort Belvoir facility. And so, yeah, one of the questions was how many horses do we have? We have a total of 66 horses.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's between our Fort Meyer facility and our Fort Belvoir facility. So our Fort Belvoir facility is more or less for training horses and training our new horses and training our new soldiers. I actually, up until yesterday, I was working at our Fort Belvoir facility, training 2 of our new horses, or helping train it. Right now, I'm recovering from a hip surgery. I had to get a hip replacement, but I was still able to kind of coach someone through the process to get these horses trained. And so now today's the first day they're here at Fort Meyer, and I'll show you where they're at later on in the process. But right now we're in the main barn. We're just kind of walking through the stables where the horses stay at. So some of the stables have some of the stalls have horses in them. Others don't. Right now, we're not doing any missions. So we try to keep as many out in our lots where they can just kind of be free to just eat hay and just run around and do whatever out there. But we still have a few here in the barn with us. Another thing, you wanted to see what the tack rooms look like. So this is where it all starts. Like every morning, the soldiers come in. First thing they do is start every piece of brass that you see on these saddles. All that needs to be shined, polished. Every piece of brass needs to be polished. All this leather the leather gets cleaned the night before, and then from there they have to put it all together. Get the horses washed up. I'll show you the washroom here in a few minutes. So this is where all the saddles are at. We have all the bridles over here. So yeah.
It's also nicely organized. I love it.
Yeah. Almost like they're in the army.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So anyhow,
so does every horse have their own saddle and bridle, or how do you all work the tack with everybody?
Yeah, every horse is assigned their own saddle. So because these horses are different or come in different sizes, so you want to have the saddle fit kind of to their back. And our leather worker is also a civilian that's been here for a long time. He was here for a long time as a soldier, and he's here for a long time as a civilian now. Mr. Eugene Burks, he makes these saddles and fits them, and he fits them to the specific horse. So he's very good at what he does. And so all these saddles have the name of whatever horse that they're. Let me see if I can show that.
Oh yeah, we see the plate.
Yeah. Tom, that's Tom's saddle. So he's got the name of every horse on every saddle there.
Oh, so cool.
So yeah. So that's the first thing in the morning. Then from there we'll go down and show you the shower room. So here again, we're just walking down the aisleway. All these horses would be tied up. We have cross ties here at different intervals. So we have cross ties here to tie up the horses in the morning. That way they can be groomed out and get ready to go into the washroom.
And so do they get baths pretty much every day that they work?
Yes, except if it's too cold outside, then we just dry groom them as best as we can, and just leave it at that. But yeah, every day that we can, we'll wash them down. Mm-hmm. That just kind of seems to be the best way to get the grime and the dirt that's in their fur out. So anyhow, this is where that happens. We got barrels full of soap there for them.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So, and then other hosts just spray them down. So yeah. So this
and
is.
So then after that, they go into whatever the service is for the day. And has that still been continuing during all of this stuff?
It has not actually. All services were. Not all services, but all full honors funerals have been canceled for the past month and a half.
Oh wow!
Months now, yeah. So it's just small funerals here and there that still happen in Arlington Cemetery that we're not a part of. Because caissons, there's different types of funerals out in Arlington Cemetery. One being a simple funeral for like family members of the soldier. Another being standard honors for enlisted service members. Let's see. Then full honors for officers and higher, and so that's where we come in. They get to ride on the wagons.
Yeah, my dad rode on the wagon.
Oh, wow.
It was a hard day, but it was a very beautiful moment. But yeah, so it brings back a lot of memories for me.
Yeah, so well, I'm sorry for your loss, but we're glad to have been able to honor his memory. And yeah, so this might be one of the. How long ago was that?
It was in 2014.
Oh yeah, so one of these wagons could very well have been carried your father. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So yeah, I saw a picture of him on your Facebook page too.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I see he was a paratrooper too.
Yep, he was.
Yeah.
He was. My mom read your bio and she said you both had a lot in common. So.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about what it's like to be a part on the other side of a funeral for an officer, and what kind of goes through your mind, and how you guys get prepared for something like that?
Yeah, I guess kind of the we try not to, but doing this day in and day out, it just becomes the routine,
Mm-hmm.
and especially if if you're the rider facing forward. So if you see on that picture, so there's most of the riders are facing forward, but then the section rider will at some point when you come to the drop off site, will turn around and face the other way. And it's just I remember being the section sergeant for one of those missions, and is an active duty KIA for a Marine. And I just remember, normally I was facing away from the family members, but that day I was facing towards them, and just seeing them come out and just bursting into tears. And then you get a lot of family members coming up later after the fact and saying how much it means to them, and it's just very gratifying to be able to provide that to the service members, or to the families of the service members. I mean, and honor their memory and their legacy in that way.
So how many horses are in a typical full honor funeral? And can you tell us a little bit about how that setup goes?
Yeah, so we have 6 horses hooked to the wagon. I'm trying to find a picture in here that you can see kind of how it. Let me see if I can find another picture. In here, there's a lot of glare and whatnot. It's kind of hard to see through the camera. So there's 6 horses hooked to the actual wagon, and you'll see in this picture the 6 hooked to the wagon, 2 in the back. These are called the wheel horses. 2 in the middle, those are called the swing horses, and then 2 in the front, those are the lead horses. And then this guy riding up front here, that's the section sergeant. He's posting up. He's posting up to a mission right now, and so what he does is he rides ahead, posts up to where they want this horse to stop at, the lead horse, where they want him to stop at. And then he's got his salute up. As soon as he gets to that point, he drops his salute, and the wheel rider stops the whole wagon, including these horses. The wheel horses, you'll notice they're bigger than the other horses, so they'll stop the whole team to include the wagon there. So yeah.
Wow. And it's not very common, or at least in my experience, of seeing a wagon or carriage of sorts without a driver in it. So is that something that the horses and the riders have to learn? And how do you train them to do that?
Well, yeah, that's, growing up Amish. I mean, you've read my bio. Growing up Amish, I was used to being in the driver's seat too. And indeed, they do have a seat there with a cushion on it that it seems like at some point in time, someone did ride on it. But as far as tradition goes, it's the, like only we call them the near horses. So like, if there's 2 beside each other, only the left horses get ridden. And then you control the other horse with your other hand, with your free hand. So you neck rein them. You neck rein, you neck rein the near horse, and then just kind of use that horse to kind of, if you're turning right, you use that horse to push the other horse over, and they get very good at it. They kind of start reading your body language.
And so I guess they have to get along, right?
Yeah. Well, they don't have to. There's some of them we just make it work. You know,
Oh.
they don't get along. They're just fighting every day, but you know, we just make it work.
Okay. So what do you look for in the horses that you all take in, and where do you find them?
Well, what I like in a new horse is one. First of all, you know, you can buy them where they've already had some experience pulling a wagon. Here I haven't really had the chance to be a part of the buying process too much, but one of our sister platoons down in Fort Sam Houston, they asked me, you know, they have a little bit here. We're kind of stuck with GSA contracts and buying our horses. Down there, they have the leeway to just, you know, if they see a horse they like, just write out a check and, you know, they buy it.
Okay.
So I suggested they go to my hometown in Holmes County, Ohio, and buy some horses that the Amish use there. Those horses, they've been out in town. They've seen crowds. They've seen, you know, banners, you know, backfiring cars, stuff like that. You know, a lot of things that would be similar to what they experience here. And so that'd be the optimal horse, but you know,
they make a trip out there to get some therapeutic riding horses. Sounds like they're quite well experienced.
Yeah, they're very dead into a lot of things that would you know, stimulate another horse. So
yeah.
So
and so, are you looking for a certain age range? Are you trying to get them young, or?
Yeah, you want them young enough to where you can still get a good amount of service out of them, but not so young as to where they still kind of have their youthful, you know, ignorance about them. You know, you know how, you know.
Oh yeah.
You know how it is. You know, it's the reason why rental car companies don't sell to anybody less than 25 years old. And it's kind of the same concept with horses. You know, we'd rather have ones that are over 25 years old in the horse age. So
that makes sense. Any breed in particular that seems to do well, or color, or any, you know, certain specifics like that?
Well, we just kind of try to, you know, stick with black and white. And then just, you know, the individual demeanor of the horse, not necessarily a specific breed. It just seems like Percherons seem to have, you know, have the right colors, seem to provide the right colors for us. So a lot of our horses are either Percheron or Percheron mixed.
Okay.
Yeah. So, which I don't really care. I don't really care for the Percheron as a, you know, the temperaments that they have. But you know, as long as you work with them properly, they're fine.
Okay. I haven't had that much experience.
A little harder for new people to acclimate to a Percheron's temperament, but.
Yeah. And so, what happens when the horses are ready to retire? Someone wanted to know, you know, where do they go?
Well, you can put in an application on our website, and so we have one. Her name is Elvira, and she's she's over in our other barn. I can show you where that's at here in a little bit.
Okay. And she's looking for her next stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
And I'm thinking it's one of our former soldiers that got out of the Army. He used to be the section sergeant here on a lot of missions, and so he really wants her. So.
Oh, well, I hope he gets her then.
Yeah, so he might be the one that gets her.
Yeah. And so I'm looking over here at my questions here. So you kind of went through some of the jobs that people perform in the barn. Would you mind expanding a little bit on that? How many people work in the Caisson Platoon, and what are their roles within it?
Not exactly sure how many soldiers are assigned to the platoon right now, but somewhere between 35 and 40. Not all of them are riders. Some of them are support personnel, and
Okay.
so yeah. So, shoot, that's something I might have wanted to look up before this. But yeah, I'm not quite sure exactly. There's 4 riding squads, and
Okay.
about 10 people in each squad. So yeah, I'd say about 30 or 40 riders. I mean.
And so they don't have to necessarily have horse experience coming in? Does the military give them the training that they would need, or?
Yes, we have a 10-week training course that's done at our Fort Belvoir facility.
Okay.
Yeah, so we just had a training class. I think they're in their 9th week right now. So they last week they were still at Fort Belvoir facility. So this week they're here at Fort Meyer. They're doing they're riding like on an actual team pulling the wagon for the first time.
Oh wow!
Not on actual missions, but just around Fort Meyer here, just to kind of get them used to what they'll be experiencing out in the cemetery. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, looking at. And so, are those soldiers, when they're assigned in the platoon, do they have a certain job that they keep their entire time, or does that change? Or
it can change from time to time, you know, especially if you've been here for a while, and you know, if you gain rank, like say you come here as a private, you know, first thing which I did, first thing you do is you're the grunt, you're the one that gets all the hard work, and as you gain a little bit of rank and attain responsibility, then you're kind of more the overseer. Make sure everything gets done. Doesn't preclude you from working alongside your soldiers, but you know, it's more, you know, just typical with Army. You know, it's more of an oversight role than you know, actual hands-on. But then platoon sergeant and the platoon leader, you know, they go through the 10-week training class too, but they don't get to ride nearly as much as the soldiers do, just because they have so much administrative things to take care of.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just the nature of their job.
And is there typically multiple funerals in a day, or is it kept to one per day?
No, we have 2 teams that go out each day. Each team normally does 4 funerals a day.
Oh,
so
wow.
Total of 8, and so that's only the full honors funerals, and so there'll be another could be up to like 20 more or so other funerals going on aside from that, you know, with family members being buried and other standard honors funerals. But that's just what we participate in every day. Okay,
well, that's a big job.
Yeah, it's a big undertaking. There's a lot that goes on every day. You know, it starts at they get here and start everything at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And then most of them don't leave the barn until like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 5:30 sometimes.
Yeah, so that's a full day.
Yeah, it's a long day. So that's why they transition from riding week to stables week. So, you know, if you're on your stables week, it's your job to just clean stalls, maintain and upkeep the barn. You know, if there's horses that need to be worked, they work the horses.
Cool. So this is an interesting question that someone posed. So we've heard there's like some symbolism between, and I'm not sure if symbolism is the right word, but things that happen in the funerals, like the riderless horse, the backwards boot, things like that, the number of shots fired. Can you tell us a little bit about that? We were curious to try to understand what those things meant.
Yeah, everything's symbolism with what we do. I mean, everything's based on tradition. I mean, we wouldn't, our services wouldn't even be, we wouldn't even be doing what we're doing if it wasn't for tradition and symbolism, basically. And so the backwards boots, what I've heard of that is that in the Civil War, when a commander, so like the colonel or the general gets shot and dies out in the field, they'll put the boots in the stirrups backwards, and then send the horse back to the camp. That signifies that the colonel has died. And also in earlier times, they would bring the horse of the deceased warrior to the graveside with him, in boots backwards. I think that's more back in the medieval times. So it goes back a pretty long way.
Sounds like it. What about the riderless horse?
So that's it. Yeah, that's the riderless horse. It's led by one of our soldiers.
And what about the shots that are fired during I remember I still have the casing from one of them from my dad's funeral. Is there a number that happens for a reason, or how is that determined?
Yeah, 21 shots. So there's 7 people lined up firing 3 shots. And I'm honestly, off the top of my head, I know I've heard it before, but I can't remember why it's 21.
Okay.
21 shots.
Okay, I didn't know it was 21. So
I'm sure there's a reason. Sure, there's a reason why. I should know because I used to do that before I came to Caisson.
Okay.
But yeah, I honestly don't remember why that's why it's the number 21. Or if it's a general, then it's 21 cannons.
Oh, wow. Shots. Oh, wow. Is there anything else that the Caisson Platoon participates in outside of the funerals?
Yeah, so we have mounted color guards that, we have what's called community relations, where we do mounted color guards for like sometimes polo matches out in I think it's the Plains where they have the polo matches, and then also out in Middleburg, the horse show horse competitions out there. Sometimes we'll have a mounted color guard there.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
I went to, what was it? It was something that was hosted during the summertime, and it looked like the Caisson horses were participating. I can't remember what it was called at the moment, but it was so cool.
Where was it at?
It was at Fort Meyer.
Oh, okay. Twilight Tattoo.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yep.
Yeah, that was really cool. Yeah. Went through the whole history. I loved it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So one person asked, and I was surprised by this, actually. She's watching the interview right now. She said hello, by the way.
Oh, hi.
Is there an official horse for the president? And if so, can you tell us a little bit about that?
There's not an official horse for the president, but in Ronald Reagan's funeral, the president used his own boots. For the riderless horse, and I'll actually introduce you to the horse that carried those boots. His name is Sergeant York. He's our oldest horse. He just turned 30 years old.
Wow.
A couple months ago.
He's looking great.
Yeah, well, he's got a few more ribs sticking out than he used to there, but yeah, he still does funerals.
Wow, not bad for 30.
But yeah, he participated in Ronald Reagan's funeral back in 2004.
Wow.
So So yeah. So
Will you all keep him for the rest of his days, or?
yeah,
Yeah.
we're keeping him until he falls over, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I guess if a president were to die right now, I'm pretty sure that, yeah, I'm sure they have a horse picked out for that, but doesn't necessarily have to be that horse. Say that horse was injured at the time and it didn't work out, then they just use one of the other ones.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And then just the last couple questions, your favorite memories, the best experiences that you've had in the job. We'd love to hear those.
My favorite memories. I mean, I have over 900 of those. I mean, I've done 948
Wow.
funerals, and amount of funerals in Arlington National Cemetery, and I was honored to be a part of every one of those. But yeah, it's just sometimes it does just kind of become you kind of forget what it's all about. But yeah, when you do see what it means to the family members, that's just some of my favorite memories, is just some of the gratitude that has been expressed to us by the family members, and just knowing what it means to them, is really, and I'm honored to be a part of that process.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for doing that, and for being a part of something that does make a very hard time a little bit not better, but you feel valued in that time. So thank you for spending so much of your life making that possible for the people that are going through those times.
I haven't lost a parent yet, but I got pretty close with my mom, and I could only imagine how hard it would be to lose one of my parents. So yeah, I'm just glad.
We had one more question that came in during that. Oh, no, not a question, just a comment that you are amazing.
Thank you.
So great to have this experience, and everybody is just so thankful to be able to get a glimpse of what it is that you do, and thank you for everything that you do for our country, and also thank you for jumping in and volunteering here at Sprout when we call on you.
You're very welcome. You do a very important job out there too. So I've seen when we first started doing therapeutic writing, it just, to me, it was just like, what's this gonna do to help a soldier out? But seeing the before and after pictures of these soldiers is just amazing. We get anything from amputees, and pretty much all of them come to us with some level of PTSD or TBIs and all that, and just seeing the difference that it makes on these soldiers. And I can only imagine, I know you don't necessarily always have soldiers, but whoever you have, it makes a very big difference to them. So I'm very glad to be a part of that whenever necessary.
Well, thank you again for your time today. And once again, we really appreciate you. And it's so cool that you live in Aldi, and that you're a neighbor and a friend. And so proud that you're a part of Sprout. And thanks again for your time.
Yeah, I still wear my Sprout hat all the time.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll be seeing each other soon, hopefully.
Yes, we will. All right.
All right. Have a nice rest of your day.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.